Revenge films.
My name is Henry. I'm 26 years old and work full-time for a company. I married my wife Rebecca 2 years ago, and we've been living happily together in our apartment ever since. After we got married, Rebecca started working part-time at a family restaurant, so we naturally split the household chores between us. But ever since I was headhunted by a bigger company, my job's gotten a lot more demanding, and I haven't been able to help around the house as much as I used to. I used to work at an ordinary mid-sized company, but they noticed how hard I worked and offered me a position at the parent company, the headquarters. It was tough leaving the company that had taken care of me, but the pay was more than double, so I gladly accepted the offer. Rebecca had always said she wanted to move into a bigger place someday once our financial situation improved. I figured she'd be thrilled to hear about the job offer, but instead of telling her right away, I thought it'd be more meaningful to save up money and surprise her. So I made up my mind and I'd keep it as a secret until our anniversary 6 months later. As my schedule got more hectic, Rebecca started paying extra attention to when I'd be coming home. She'd always say,
"I just want you to have a warm, freshly made dinner, you know?"
And I was always grateful for that. Then one day, during my lunch break, I happened to be near her workplace and thought I'd drop by to surprise her. But when I got to the restaurant, she wasn't there, even though she was supposed to be working. I asked one of the employees and they told me she had the day off. I figured maybe she was at home, so I gave her a call to see if she wanted to grab lunch together, but she didn't answer. When I got home, the front door was locked, so I figured she must have gone out. I unlocked the door and walked in. But then I noticed something strange. A pair of men's shoes I didn't recognize were sitting by the door. My heart sank. I didn't want to jump to conclusions, but just in case, I quietly stepped inside, trying not to make a sound. That's when I heard voices coming from the bedroom, Rebecca and a man. The guy said, "Are you sure it's okay? What if your husband comes home?" And Rebecca replied,
"He's at the factory all day. Trust me, we're fine."
It's true that I used to work inside a factory, but what Rebecca didn't know was that ever since I got transferred to headquarters, my job involved visiting clients throughout the city. She had no idea I could be nearby at any time. I stood there in shock, frozen, unable to move. Then, from the bedroom, I started to hear the unmistakable sounds of something intimate. I couldn't take it. I turned and walked out of the apartment, feeling like the ground had disappeared beneath me. But as time passed, my heartbreak slowly turned into anger. I decided I wasn't going to let this slide. I was going to get solid proof of her affair and divorce her. So I installed a hidden camera in our bedroom, and sure enough, while I was out working, she was bringing him into our home, into our bed. Just thinking about it made me sick to my stomach. For about a month, I monitored everything through the camera. That's when the full picture started to come together. The guy was a regular customer at the family restaurant where Rebecca worked. He was 35, married, and had kids of his own. This meant this wasn't just cheating, it was a full-on mutual affair, double betrayal. But what hurt most wasn't the physical cheating, it was seeing the side of my wife I never knew existed. When she was with him, she acted like a completely different person. She'd complain about me, saying things like,
"He's such a loser. Still hasn't gotten promoted. Lately, he's been slacking off on the chores, too. It's so annoying."
This woman who used to speak kindly to me, who I thought genuinely cared about me, she was just playing a role. Realizing I'd been lied to for so long filled me with rage. I wasn't going to let this end quietly. Once I had everything I needed, it was time to confront her and finally file for divorce. But after everything she'd done to me, I had no intention of letting her off easy. The night before the confrontation, I set up one final trick in our bedroom. The next day, I took paid leave from work. I went to the restaurant where Rebecca worked, found a seat, and opened my laptop. I watched her and the guy enter the bedroom live on camera, right on cue. Then I turned up the volume to max, loud enough for the other restaurant staff to hear everything. It didn't take long before one of her co-workers looked at the screen, and just like that, her secret relationship with the regular customer was exposed right there in her workplace. Everyone looked shocked and disgusted. Without saying another word, I shut the laptop, stood up, and walked out of the restaurant. It was time to go home and finally bring this all to an end. I opened the front door and shouted loudly, "Rebecca, honey, are you home?" From the bedroom, I heard a noise. I didn't rush. I walked slowly, giving them time to hide. When I opened the bedroom door, just as I expected, neither of them was there, but their clothes were scattered messily on the floor right next to the bed. We lived on the 3rd floor, so they couldn't have escaped through the window. If they were hiding, there was only one possibility, which is the closet, and I was prepared for that. The day before, I'd made sure the closet door couldn't be opened easily. I had also placed a huge wooden crate I bought online right in front of it. It was obvious they had climbed into it. Without hesitation, I grabbed some duct tape and sealed the crate tight, wrapped it over and over again so they couldn't get out. Then, I called my friend who's a truck driver. I had already asked for help in advance. He was waiting nearby, just like we planned. Together, we carried the crate down to his truck, loaded it onto the bed, and I climbed into the passenger's seat. Even now, inside the crate, they were holding their breath, probably thinking they still had a chance to get away. But with that much tape holding it shut, no way! Confident they weren't going anywhere, I relaxed and chatted with my friend during the ride, heading straight to Rebecca's parents' house. Once we arrived, I rang the doorbell. Her mother answered. I skipped any small talk and asked her to call her husband. Then I placed the crate right in front of their door. As soon as Rebecca heard her parents' voices, it seemed the reality of the situation finally hit her. From inside the box, she screamed,
No, wait! Don't open it, please!
Her parents froze. "Rebecca, what on earth is going on?" I slowly peeled off the duct tape and opened the lid, then explained everything to them. How I discovered the affair, how long it had been going on, and what they were doing in my bed while I was out working. Inside the crate, the two of them were huddled together, completely naked. Even with the lid open, they couldn't get out. Trying to hide her body, Rebecca screamed at me.
What the hell is wrong with you? This is disgusting! You're a sick psycho freak!
But her father didn't let that slide. "No! You're the one who's disgusting!" Her mother started crying and apologized to me over and over. Rebecca, scolded harshly by her father, finally mumbled out an apology to me, but it was clear she didn't mean a word of it. Her mother brought out some clothes from inside the house and told the two of them to get dressed. We went inside. Once we were seated, I opened my laptop and played the videos I had recorded, clear evidence of the affair. One by one, her parents watched every second, their faces filled with disbelief and shame. My wife flew into a rage, yelling,
"How dare you secretly film me like that? That is unbelievable!"
Without flinching, I handed her the divorce papers I had prepared. Until then, she had acted tough, but the moment she saw the papers, her whole attitude changed.
"But you never get promoted, and our dream of moving into a condo, that'll never happen anyway. With a husband like you, it's no surprise I'm cheating."
Calmly, I showed her my recent pay stubs. Actually, I was headhunted. I'm working at the main contractor's headquarters now. I've even saved enough to move into a condo, but I'm moving out alone. Her eyes suddenly widened, and she said desperately,
"Is that so? Then why didn't you tell me sooner? I'll break it off with the other man. Let's stay together, okay?"
I shook my head firmly. "No joke, we're done. I'm divorcing you, and I'll be claiming compensation from both you and him." She clung to me, crying.
"I don't want a divorce."
Ignoring her, I walked out. Outside, my friend was waiting, and together, we went back to my place. Later, I filed for compensation from both my wife and her lover. With that money plus my savings, I moved into a nicer condo than I'd originally planned. As for Rebecca, her parents disowned her. Her affair became public at her workplace, making it unbearable, and she lost her job. Her lover's wife found out after I sent an official notice to him, and they got divorced. Though the two of them might have continued seeing each other, the massive compensation claims drained their finances, and their relationship quietly faded away. Having lost everything, Rebecca was left homeless and vulnerable, eventually drawn into a suspicious cult. She started pushing diet pills on her old friends, driving everyone away. Now she earns money selling pills, but it all goes straight to the cult. She's left with nothing for herself, desperately struggling to make ends meet. Meanwhile, I've started fresh in my new condo. With renewed motivation, I focus on work. My income has gone up, and I'm enjoying my private life as a free and single man. If the time comes for love again, I know better now not to be fooled by appearances, but to really understand the true nature of the person.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.